creativity is sort of like the highest virtue towards which the human race should strive. To create is something that's just so singular to our race, you know, the human race, our species. I went to the park and I read a book. Creativity is the thing I think that sort of separates us and makes us human. It's like the distinguishing trait of our species, and I think that's kind of like, it's when I'm being creative, when I'm creating something, it's when I feel most in tune with my place in the universe, I guess.
Why is it a good time now to start recording your debut?
I mean, you want to know, it's kind of a big fuck you to the university that I go to, because, I mean, I've been wanting to record an album already for a while, because I have a lot of songs that I've written over the years, and I mean like a lot of songs, and I'm very much consolidating it into a very small package, because I don't have that much time, and so I wanted to make an album already for a long time, but I felt like this was a good time because I got really I'm just at a point where I'm very frustrated right now, and I feel like I've not received anything in terms of knowledge or worth for all of the money that I'm paying to this university, so I feel like I should tell them to fuck themselves.
Sonically, tell me a bit about how you want this album to sound.
I'd like it to sound very relaxed and not rushed, but also quite full of heart, like con ganas. I'd like it to sound, I want it to have like a full range of sound, from the deepest bass to the sort of highest areas of the treble, you know. I'd like it to be really wide sounding and ambient, maybe quite a bit.
Cool. Okay. How many songs are there in the pipeline for this album?
I don't know, like anywhere from 5 to 10. The first time I ever performed, I was horrible and I choked, and it was in front of the entire school, and it was a big mistake. I was really high when I decided to do it, and I was just like, why not? And then I went up on stage and I wasn't high anymore, and I just wanted to throw up, and I had never performed before. But anyway, later on that year, it was in high school. I had to take this ukulele class, and so I was going out to perform with a ukulele. I don't remember what song it was, but my ukulele teacher, Mr. Yu, he came up to me and he just said, listen, just go out there and do your thing. And it's just such a common thing to say, you know, it doesn't sound like that profound or whatever, but at the time, like, I guess I probably was high as well, but like, I heard, do your thing, and I just thought, whoa, music is my thing, like, this is my thing, I'm doing the thing that I was created to do, and I felt so in place, and I think that was probably the most intense. So did you ask creative advice? I don't know. For me, it was, I guess, kind of like creative in like, you know, the act of creation, creating a performance in the moment. I was so nervous, and he just came up to me and said, just do your thing. And I was like, yeah, you're right, it's so calm. Also, nothing could ever be worse than the first time. So I wasn't afraid anymore. And since then, I've pretty much not had any stage fright. I saw red. I was raised in a very, I won't use the word cult because I know that it's a strong word and has a lot of connotations, but I was raised in a household that was very involved in a strong fundamentalist Christian church. I myself was baptized into the church when I was 16. There's so much symbolism within religion and all that, and I was very enamored with the idea of it. I am quite not traditional person in practice. I'm pretty queer and pretty liberal. And so everything that was in me was against all of the values that I was sort of, well, not all of the values, but most of the strongest values that I was being taught were the key out of hell. So it was kind of like, I guess also masochism in me that I decided to be part of the church, and I immersed myself in this culture that told me that I couldn't be myself and be okay, and that who I was and what I had done were all the reasons why Jesus had died on the cross, and it was my fault that he had nails driven through his hands, and it was my fault, everything was my fault, and it was just a lot of guilt and anxiety that built up for 3 years of my life, and it was a really, really intense sort of time. And religion, since I was born, has always been like a really important part of me and my culture. So I guess like it means a lot to me, and when I write lyrics, I use a lot of religious symbolism and imagery because I understand it, and that's like sort of the language through which I understood the world from a very young age.
When you came out to your parents, what was that like?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I really ever did. I did sort of, but like they kind of just found out from someone else or something else. I'm not really sure how they found out, but they confronted me about it, and I was like, "What are you gonna do about it?" I was like 13, I think, at the time. So I don't know. I was quite rebellious and sad, and lonely and whatnot. But they were just like, what is this? And I was like, I don't know, that's just how it is. And they were like, yeah, right. And then they just started like yelling, and it was just a mess, I think. And I remember my dad was in the car one day, and he kept making jokes about it and like saying really mean stuff, I guess, to me. And I just remember getting out of the car and crying and being like, oh, how dare you make jokes about me? And yeah, I mean, they've never really, like, in an adult fashion, we've never had to talk about it. When you finally find you see how it's rated, the other side is lighter. When you turn it around, everything stays right where you left it. Everything stays, but it still changes, ever so slightly. Daily and nightly, in little ways, but everything.
The first time we met was at Love Shack at a drum circle, like Christine calls it, but it was actually a jam. When I saw her first, the jam had started and she was sitting on the floor playing guitar and her fingers were moving like crazy, and I was just like, holy shit, Dorian, do you see that? Like, is she even real? And then Dorian's like, yeah, that little girl's insane. I'm like, you can't say that, don't call her a little girl. And he's like, why? Isn't she like 15? So yeah, that's my first memory of Christine. She leaned in and kissed my eyebrow, just my forehead just above my eyebrow, and then she kissed my lips, and then I had an entire ecosystem growing inside my stomach, and there were fireworks, and there was like a thunderstorm, and it was like 11 tons of magnets were pulling me towards her, and oh my god, it was the most incredible moment of my life. And then I basically peer pressured her into seeing me again. I was like, you're like, when am I seeing you again? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, when am I seeing you again? And that was on a Friday, and I was like, okay, Monday, after work, we're going out. So basically I forced her to go out with me. And then we did. And then, was it on that Monday? I think it was on that Monday where we actually said I love you to each other and became girlfriends. So that was 3 days after we first kissed. So yeah, pretty crazy. But you know, it was literally love at first sight, or first deep conversation.
When did you realise that you wanted to pursue music as a career?
I still don't think I've realized that. I think I'm probably going to end up working in some kind of coffee shop or something for the rest of my life and doing music on the side, and that's true. I'm not really so worried about it. I mean, there's such a saturation of music these days that because of the internet and all these different platforms that people can use, so I'm not really too worried about you know, actually making a career out of it. I realized that music was the only thing that satisfied me after all of the different things that I had gotten into, probably when I was like 17, and I was like, because I had gotten into a lot of different things, and I mean a lot of different things. I was into cooking, I was into linguistics, I was into like, really into meteorology and all that sort of thing. Like, I got quite into different things. But music was kind of like always there, and the most satisfying out of all of them. Yeah.
Give me time to refresh my mind. Alone I've found that I'm not hard to find. Conditioned to believe my thoughts are unsafe and should safely, securely be all locked away.
What's your favourite track on this album? What's one that you can't wait to record and share with the world?
Can't lie to you. I don't remember all the songs that we're going to put on the album, but I think Sacred Intentions. I really like the song. I really want Wanda to come in and do some violin on it if I can get her to come in. But I really like that sound, like the sound of the track, and I really want to make it sound like exactly what I hear in my head. So yeah, that one.
I was the joke, then we all became roses and vanished with smoke. Is this all a dream? 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 Make it clear to me, state your intention. Is this only chemical divine intervention? Whatever you call it, I'm breathless and weak. Give me all your attention. And don't let me speak, for looks are a language all on their own, and love isn't silent even when I'm alone. I can feel you, your presence is under my skin, and it warms me. I'm shivering, burnt from within. And if life has no meaning, then why do you try always to please me? Someone tell me why a lover like Belle would love someone like